Your Jeep has hidden settings that most owners never discover, and even some dealership employees don't know they exist. One can prevent costly damage, another makes off-roading dramatically easier, and one could save you an unnecessary service visit. Let's uncover the hidden settings hiding in plain sight. Number 10 is the off-road cruise control almost nobody turns on, Selec-Speed control. Most Jeep owners know about regular cruise control. Almost nobody knows their Jeep has a second, totally separate cruise control built just for crawling over rocks, sand, and steep grades. It's called Selec-Speed control, and it's on the Wrangler, the Gladiator, and certain Grand Cherokee and Cherokee Trailhawk trims with the 8-speed automatic. Here's what makes it weird though. You can't just flip it on like normal cruise control. You've got to shift into 4-low first. Once you drop below 5 miles an hour, you tap a button on the dash or center console. Then you use the paddle shifters behind the wheel to pick a speed instead of a gear. First gear locks you at about 0.6 miles an hour. Second gear bumps you to 1.2. Each gear after that adds roughly the same tiny jump, all the way up to around 5 miles an hour in 8th gear. Once that speed is locked in, you take both feet completely off the pedals. The Jeep handles the gas and the brakes by itself, feeding in exactly enough torque to hold that crawl while you focus only on steering around boulders or down a loose, rutted hill. Owners who've used it on steep, icy shelf roads say it killed almost all the nervous footwork that usually happens on a scary descent with someone gripping the door handle next to them. Tap the brake or the gas at any point and the system hands control right back. No fight, no delay. Now for the part that gets people. So many Wrangler owners with the 8-speed automatic have driven their Jeep for years thinking it only has regular highway cruise. They never knew a whole second system was sitting one button away, built for the exact terrain that makes most drivers white-knuckle the wheel. Number 9 is Valet mode, the setting that pays for your kid's first fender bender before it happens. Buried in the Uconnect system on the Grand Cherokee is a feature most owners have genuinely never opened, because there's no flashy icon begging for attention. It's called Valet mode, and most people assume it only exists for handing your keys to a parking attendant outside a restaurant. That guess is costing parents real money and real risk. Once you set a pin inside the Uconnect settings, you can turn on Valet mode anytime you hand the keys to someone else, including your own kid fresh off their license. The system locks down certain capabilities until you punch that pin back in from the driver's seat. There's a twist though. The catch that trips people up is the exact same catch that protects them. Forum threads are full of owners who set a pin once, forgot it within a week, and ended up stuck staring at a locked screen with no way back in except a trip to the dealer for a reset. So write the pin down somewhere that isn't your memory, because once you do, you've got a tool that limits exactly what a new driver can do with your Jeep before they ever pull out of the driveway alone for the first time. Most parents with teenage drivers have no idea this setting even exists. The ones who do know are usually the ones who got the scared phone call first. The one where your kid's voice is shaking, and the first thing out of your mouth is asking if anyone got hurt before you even ask about the car. Number 8 is the Quadra-Lift leveling disable, the trick that saves your air springs. If your Grand Cherokee has Quadra-Lift air suspension, there's a feature hiding inside it that most owners never need, until the one day they desperately do. Quadra-Lift is constantly adjusting itself in the background. It raises for off-road clearance, drops at highway speed to cut wind drag, and settles into park mode so you can step in and out a little easier. But the second you get a flat tire on the shoulder and need to jack the vehicle up, that non-stop self-leveling turns into a real headache. The system feels the vehicle tilt on the jack and tries to fix it by pumping more air into whatever corner just lifted off the ground. And that tug of war between the jack and the compressor can stress or even blow out an air spring while you're just trying to swap a tire. The fix is one of the strangest button holds in the whole Jeep lineup. Nobody tries it because nobody ever told them it existed. Press and hold the suspension up and down buttons at the same time for somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds. The display confirms automatic leveling has shut off the moment you let go of both buttons. Now you can jack the vehicle without the suspension fighting you every few seconds. Drive over 5 miles an hour afterward and it switches itself back on automatically, so there's nothing extra to remember once you're rolling again. The dealer won't bring this up during your test drive, because why would they? Most owners only stumble onto this button hold the day they're stranded on the shoulder with a flat tire and a Jeep that keeps trying to re-level itself underneath them. Number 7 is engine off power delay, the timer that decides if your battery survives the morning. Every Grand Cherokee and Cherokee with Uconnect has something called engine off power delay, and almost nobody realizes how much control it quietly hands them. Normally, the second you shut your Jeep off, the radio, power windows, sunroof, and power outlets stay live for a short window before everything cuts out for good. Most owners never touch this setting because they don't even know it can be changed. Inside the Uconnect menu, that window can be set to 0 seconds, 45 seconds, 5 minutes, or a full 10 minutes. Crank it to the full 10 and you can sit in your driveway after a long drive, finish the song that just came on, charge your phone the rest of the way, or roll the windows down without the engine running at all. Open either front door and the delay cancels instantly and shuts everything off, so there's no real risk of draining your battery overnight by forgetting about it. And this is the part that should bug you a little. Owners who leave this on the factory default never get those extra minutes. Owners who max it out get a free phone charging window tacked onto the end of every single drive, and almost none of them went looking for the menu that controls it. That exact same menu is also where the next setting has been hiding the whole time, sitting one tab over and getting confused for something else entirely. Quick break. If you want to unlock everything your Jeep is capable of, check out my Jeep ebook. It's packed with maintenance tips, hidden features, troubleshooting guides, and money-saving advice that every owner should know. The link is in the description below. Number 6 is Headlamp Off Delay, the headlight feature that's actually 2 separate settings hiding as one. Most Jeep owners assume their headlights just shut off when they turn off the Jeep. In reality, there are 2 completely separate, independently adjustable timers running behind the scenes, and almost nobody has touched either one. The first is called Headlamp Off Delay. It controls how long your headlights stay lit after you shut off the ignition and open the door, lighting your walk to the front door instead of leaving you stuck fumbling for your keys in a dark lot. You can set it to 0, 30, 60, or 90 seconds through the menu. The second, totally separate setting is called Headlight Illumination on Approach, and it controls something completely different. This one decides how long your headlights and taillights light up the second you unlock the vehicle from a distance with your key fob, walking up to it at night, again adjustable across that same 0 to 90 second range. The part almost nobody catches is this. These are 2 different systems triggered by 2 different actions, one for leaving and one for approaching, and you can set each one on its own. Owners who only set one and assume it covers both end up confused when their lights act inconsistent between locking up at night and walking back out the next morning. Once you realize there are genuinely 2 timers instead of one, the whole thing finally clicks. Number 5 is Aero mode, the height the dealer never shows you because it's meant to stay invisible. Quadra-Lift has 5 separate ride heights, and most new owners only ever feel 2 of them, usually by accident. There's normal ride height for daily driving, off-road 1 and off-road 2 for trail clearance, and on the far end, Aero mode. Aero mode is the one nobody talks about because you almost never notice it happen. Above roughly 62 miles an hour, held for about 20 seconds, the Grand Cherokee quietly drops itself about half an inch below normal ride height, just to cut wind drag and squeeze a little extra fuel economy out of a long highway run. You won't feel it shift. No chime, no warning, nothing on the dash demanding your attention while it happens. The Jeep is reshaping itself underneath you at 70 miles an hour on the interstate, and almost no owner has any clue it's happening every single time they take a long trip. On the flip side sits Park mode, which most owners do notice but rarely understand the reason behind. The second you shift into park, the suspension drops about 1.5 inches lower just to make stepping in and out easier, or to make loading something heavy into the back less of a stretch. Press the up button once, or just start driving past 15 miles an hour, and it rises right back to normal with 0 input from you. 2 fully automatic height changes happening constantly, and most owners drive thousands of miles without ever catching either one. Number 4 is the Tire Pressure Relearn, the menu that quietly tells your Jeep how fast a flat actually is. Tire pressure sensors are something almost every owner assumes are fully automatic, fix themselves, and never need any real attention beyond the warning light on the dash. What most owners don't realize is that the system can be manually relearned, reset, and even recalibrated through a sequence most people have never tried, mostly because the dash light usually clears itself eventually and nobody goes digging further. Change your tire size, rotate tires more aggressively than the system expects, or swap a sensor, and it needs to relearn which sensor sits at which wheel, or it throws confusing warnings that have nothing to do with an actual flat tire. The relearn lives inside the same Uconnect or EVIC menu most owners only ever open to set the clock or fix the screen brightness. Most people who get a stuck, nagging tire light immediately assume something's broken and drive straight to the dealer for diagnostics, when the real fix is a menu sequence they could run themselves from the driver's seat in under 2 minutes. The dealership will happily charge a fee for something that's been sitting in a settings screen the whole time, waiting for someone to scroll one tab further than usual. And here's how most owners actually find it. They stumble onto this menu by accident while trying to fix something completely unrelated like the clock, and suddenly notice a tab labeled Tire Pressure they've scrolled past for years, paying for a fix they could have done themselves the entire time. Number 3 is Hill Descent Control, the crawl mode most Grand Cherokee owners have literally never pressed. Selec-Speed control on the Wrangler and Gladiator isn't the only low-speed system hiding in the lineup. Certain Grand Cherokee trims, going back to the WK2 generation, came with a real hill descent and hill ascent system that runs through the exact same paddle shifters used for normal gear changes, but only once you're in 4 low and the Jeep senses an actual slope underneath it. Pull a paddle to pick a gear, and instead of shifting transmission gears like it would on the highway, the system locks in a matching crawl speed and lets the brakes and engine handle the rest of the climb or descent on their own. Why it stays so buried comes down to timing. The system genuinely won't switch on unless several specific things line up at the exact same moment. 4 low engaged, a real slope picked up by the sensors, and the paddles pulled while you're stopped or already creeping along. Miss even one piece of that, and absolutely nothing happens. Most owners try it once under the wrong conditions, assume it's broken or just marketing fluff, and never come back to try it right. But the ones who do get the sequence right say it completely changed how steady they felt going down a steep, loose grade with a nervous passenger gripping the door next to them. Number 2 is trailer sway control, the system that's been saving you on the highway without you ever knowing it. If your Jeep is set up for towing, there's a system running every single time you pull a trailer, and almost no driver has ever felt it work. It's called trailer sway control, and you never turn it on. There's no button, no menu, no switch. It's just always live the moment a trailer's hooked up. Sensors are constantly watching how the whole rig moves down the road, and the second they pick up on a trailer starting to fishtail from a crosswind or a semi blowing past, the system jumps in on its own. What it actually does is wild once you know it. It pulls engine power back instantly and grabs the brake on one specific front wheel, the exact wheel needed to fight the direction the trailer's swinging. If the sway flips to the other side, it switches which wheel it's braking to match. You'll feel the stability light flash and maybe a little tug through the pedal, and that's the only sign you get that the Jeep just stopped your trailer from snapping sideways across 2 lanes at 70 miles an hour. Nothing else warns you it even happened. Most owners who've towed for years have no idea this is even running, because the only time you notice it is the one bad moment you actually need it. It's built for the scariest second on the highway. And it works so quietly, most drivers never know it just saved their trailer, their Jeep, and possibly the car behind them. And that brings us to number 1, automatic high beam. The headlight system most owners think is just a glitch. Quite a few Jeeps with the front camera package have a system that flips your high beams on and off by itself at night, based on whether another car is coming toward you. Most owners who have it never knew it existed until the dash flashed a strange message one night, and the headlights seemed to change on their own. Here's the catch nobody mentions. This system won't even try to work unless you're going faster than 25 miles an hour. Drive under that speed, and the high beams just sit there doing nothing, no matter how dark the road is. To turn it on, you push the turn signal stalk forward instead of pulling it back like normal high beams, which is exactly backward from what most drivers expect and exactly why so many owners think the feature is broken the first time they try it. Once it's running, a front camera reads oncoming headlights and taillights and quietly dims your beams before the other driver even notices, then switches back to high the second the road clears. Simple as that. Owners who don't know the 25-mile-an-hour rule end up convinced the whole system is faulty, when really, they were just driving too slow for it to ever turn on in the first place. Every single feature on this list has been hiding behind one button hold, one buried menu, or one specific condition that most owners never trip into by accident. The dual headlight delays, the Quadra-Lift leveling disable, the Selec-Speed crawl control, the sway control that only shows itself in the one moment you need it most. None of them show up unless someone goes looking on purpose, and the dealer isn't exactly motivated to walk you through a 40-minute settings tour while you're signing paperwork and just trying to get home with your new keys. So this is the real takeaway. Open your settings menu tonight. Scroll through every tab once, slow, even the ones that look boring or technical. Somewhere in there is a setting just like the ones on this list, sitting completely untouched, doing nothing for you because nobody ever told you it was there. So, which of these hidden Jeep settings surprised you the most? Let me know down in the comments. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss more Jeep tips, hidden features, and money-saving advice. And if you want the complete guide to getting the most out of your Jeep, check out my ebook linked in the description. Click the video on your screen now to keep watching, and I'll see you in the next one.